YouTube Nation and Dog Pound. Welcome to today's episode of the SportsRoom TalkShow. And as you can tell by the title, it's a bit of a surprise video collaboration. Now, you know me. You know that I have a goal this season to do a video collaboration for every game on the Browns schedule. And so you're probably going to be expecting this to be a Cincinnati Bengals video collaboration. Like, oh, I'm bringing in some surprise mystery guest that isn't the usual guy, Jazzy TV. No, this in fact is not a Cleveland Browns video collaboration. You know why? Here's why. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers are taking on the Portland Trailblazers, and so for the first time ever, we are doing a Cleveland Cavaliers video collaboration. So, since we are playing Portland, oh God, I need to fix that hat. I'm trying here. Let's welcome to the show, representing, it's Blaze. How do you say your channel name?
BlazersUprise.
BlazersUprise. One of the co-hosts from the show, Eric, aka, as you can see by his social media handle there, Hoops Jock. So, how does it? You are the inaugural guest on the Cleveland Cavaliers Sports Room video collaborations.
Wow, what an honor! Thanks for having me.
No. So, I feel like both of our teams are coming into this game banged up. I mean, we're without a Coro, we're without Sexton, among others. While you guys, you're without Dame, you're without CJ McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
Have you won a game on this current homestand?
Yeah, actually, we beat the Hawks on Monday. That was we've won 4 games out of our last 19, and that was one of the 4.
I feel like I need to change outfits super quick. Give me a sec. I forgot. I just realized that. I think that looks a little bit better. What am I doing? It's a Cleveland Cavaliers video collaboration, and I'm not going to wear Cavaliers stuff? Nah, that's not how this goes. That's not how this goes. I do have a little bit of Portland love. You guys are here. Yep. So I actually
the pennant collection.
Yep. I actually have to come to Portland for a game because I'm on a lifetime quest to see a game at every NBA team's arena.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I still have to come to the Pacific Northwest and go to a game at Moda Center, where tonight's game is happening.
Yeah.
This is the first of a 6-game road trip for us.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We go Portland tonight, and then next week we do 5 games in 7 nights. We're doing Golden State, Sacramento, Sunday and Monday. And then we get Utah on Wednesday. And then San Antonio, Oklahoma City on back-to-back on Friday and Saturday, I think it is. Yeah, so it's going to be rough.
Yeah, that's always tough, either going from the West Coast to the East Coast like the Blazers always have to do, or going from the East Coast to the West and playing a bunch of games in a short amount of time. So, yeah, you guys are a lot better equipped than the Blazers are right now for road trips, though.
Hey, at least you guys get the benefit of being at home for this game.
Yeah.
But you said before I changed outfits, you're 4-19 in your last
4-15 in the last 19 games. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it kind of correlates with Dame has been battling an abdominal issue for several years now, and it flared up in the Olympics, and he just hasn't been right all season. He sat out for 10 games and got a cortisone shot. They were hoping that would help him get back onto the court for the rest of the season. But just a few weeks later, he's already battling more issues in the abdominal area. So they shut him down for a few more games, and it's actually looking like they might consider shutting him down for the rest of the season at some point.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah. So this year has been an absolute disaster for the Blazers.
Yeah. Do you think that they're gonna? Who's your general manager again?
Well, our general manager was fired during the season as well for inappropriate workplace conduct, and that was Neil Olshey. So we have an interim general manager, a guy by the name of Joe Cronin, who has been in Portland front office for, I think, like 15 to 17 years or something like that. So he's been here a long time, but never gotten a shot at the big time, and seems like a pretty bright and intelligent guy, and seems like he has some good ideas for the Blazers. It just be interesting to see if he can get anything done in that regard.
So do you think that if the Trailblazers continue to struggle like they are, that they could possibly trade Dame or CJ before the trade deadline?
Dame, I would be really shocked if they traded Dame. In my mind, he's earned the lifetime Blazer status as long as he wants to be here. And I think trading him after he's stuck with us through a lot of down times would be just a really bad look for the franchise. So I don't see him being traded. However, at some point, it just hasn't worked out the last few years, the Dame and CJ backcourt. So that leaves CJ as the more likely trade piece at some point. Not sure if that'll happen before the trade deadline this year or in the offseason, but it's looking like pretty obvious that they might have to rethink having those two as their main centerpieces.
I mean, I've suggested that the Cavs should try and trade for.
I was going to ask you about that. So would you be interested in CJ McCollum?
Yeah, I would. I would love that backcourt pairing of CJ and Darius Garland in the backcourt.
Especially with Sexton out for the year, you guys.
And Rubio.
You guys could use another guard. Yeah.
That's my biggest problem with this Cavs team is we have no guard depth.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know why our general manager, Kobe Altman, didn't go out and address that. Like, he went out and got all these big guys, but, oh my God. Give us Mobley.
That's not happening, James.
Give us Mobley for CJ? Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I know.
No. There is no way we're giving up Evan Mobley. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's like one of our main guys right now. Him and Garland are amazing together. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch any of the Cavs.
Oh, dude, I love Evan Mobley, and I love Darius Garland. That's such a good combination. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to probably put on a lot of pick and rolls tonight.
Nice. Yeah, I do a mock offseason every offseason where we have like 30 people each take a team, and we go through the offseason like we were the general manager of that team. And I was the Pistons list last offseason, and I shocked a lot of people by taking Evan Mobley #1 over Cade Cunningham. And I think that's showing to be that it might have been the right move. Yeah.
Love, Okoro, and 2 firsts. Are you saying for Dame, Krish, or are you saying for
that's probably
CJ?
For CJ.
I might actually consider doing that trade. Yeah, Kevin Love has had a resurgence with us this season, but at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for us to trade him because of that contract. If I remember correctly, it's like $31 million he's owed next year.
Mm-hmm. That's the final year, I think.
Yeah. But my bigger problem is actually Okoro because, like, he's so inconsistent as a scorer. And he's the one that had to, like, move into the shooting guard position once Sexton went down.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you're put into the starting lineup, you're expected to score a fair amount of points. Maybe not like, what Steph and Clay can do or what Dame and CJ typically can do, but at least give me double digits, And I haven't seen that from Mccollum on a consistent basis.
Yeah. Still, it's his second year, so still has a chance to develop. And his defense when he was drafted, was way ahead of his offense. So it'll probably just take some time, but I think he's kind of out of position at shooting guard anyway. So
you think he should be at the small forward?
Probably, yeah. And with your normal lineup, I guess you wouldn't really have to worry about him scoring as much because you'd have plenty of scorers. So it's not really his fault. So I can't really harp on that too much. But yeah, I think you guys could use some sort of shooter next to Garland to kind of help him space the floor.
Yeah.
And to provide some spacing for your bigs to roam the paint and stuff. We have another guard who may be available, and that's Norman Powell, who is also a pretty efficient shooting guard that seems to be more than likely on the trade block. I don't know if you know much about him.
You got him for who did you trade to Toronto?
Gary Trent and Rodney Hood.
Yes. Gary Trent Jr. I remember now. Yeah, Norman Powell is a good scorer, so I would take him. Seems like, based on what you're saying, you kind of want the Trailblazers to almost blow it up and start over.
With Dame. So what they're doing around Dame isn't working. And I know a lot of people say, Dame's 31. How can you rebuild around Dame at that age? But what we're doing now isn't really working either. So why not take a completely different approach? And my opinion is get as many assets as possible this year. And then this summer, we'd be in a position to, if a star became available, we'd have all these picks and young players and stuff that we could offer for whatever star that was. But as of right now, we have some guys who are kind of veterans on big contracts and stuff like that, or expiring contracts that don't have a ton of value. And it's tough to make a big trade for a star. So I'm all for asset acquisition and trying to get as many picks and young players as possible. So if Cleveland wants to give us a couple of firsts for one of those two players, CJ or Norm, I'd definitely be interested in that.
I mean, by the looks of it, we're trying to make the playoffs this season. So,
oh yeah, it's funny. I've made this joke several times. Larry Nance requests a trade out of Cleveland to go to a playoff team, and he's all excited to go to the Blazers, and then the Blazers suck and the Cavs are great.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that was actually that 3-team trade was what brought us Lowry Markkanen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess we won that trade then.
I guess it seemed kind of weird that you guys went after Markkanen with Mobley and Allen already, but I mean, I guess you could say it's been a success so far.
Yeah. It's weird to say, but I think you're right. It has been a success. We're 6th in the Eastern Conference right now.
If it weren't for injuries, you'd probably be higher.
Yeah. Although I don't know if we would be playing this well if Sexton hadn't gotten injured.
That's true.
Are
you ready to move on from him?
Not necessarily. Maybe if he's willing to come off the bench and be part of that second unit, I think we can make it work with him. But if he's set in his ways where, he's like, no, I'm not going to come off the bench. I want to be a starter. Then maybe it is time to move on because I've seen enough I've seen enough of Garland and Sexton on the court together to know that, in my opinion, it just doesn't work. Because
Yeah.
unlike with CJ and Dame, where like they can play off of each other really well, we've seen that, or like with Steph and Clay, or when John Wall and Bradley Beal were together, they had really good chemistry. You don't see that with Sexton and Garland. It feels like when Sexton is out there, for some reason the offense just freezes. Like,
Yeah. Well,
I don't see any ball move.
It's not for some reason. It's because he dribbles the heck out.
Yeah. True. It just feels like I'm just sitting there like, okay, can anybody move? Like, is anybody like gonna cut to the basket? Is anybody gonna like do anything?
Hey, that's like what I yell at my TV every Blazer game.
Whereas like with Garland, as soon as he gets out there, guys are moving, they're like cutting to the basket. They're you see like Mobley and Allen like posting up like, hey, give me the ball type of thing. And the offense just flows better. And it's like, this is what I wanted. Why, Sexton, why can't you do this?
Well, I don't see Sexton as being the type of player who would accept a limited role off the bench. And I think he views himself as a star. If I'm correct on that, I'd have a tough time thinking he would come back at a discounted rate to come off the bench next year. But
hey,
also the injury kind of hurt. The injury kind of hurts his trade value though too. So I don't know.
You want to do a straight up Sexton for CJ trade?
Well, the salaries don't work, but no, I'm not interested in Sexton at all. I prefer more of a wing or a forward or a big or something, and assets. And Cleveland's going to view Sexton as a positive asset, whereas the Blazers probably wouldn't in that scenario.
Okay, so no deal then, got it.
But yeah, the contracts unfortunately don't come close to working either. It's a stupid CBA, right? Getting in the way.
Yeah. But overall, you guys have been a pretty good team in the Western Conference over the past few years. Like, you made it to the Western Conference Finals in 2019. You are usually a factor in the playoffs. I watched Dame's 50-point game against Denver last year.
Yeah, where we lost. And he had 55 on
like
12 threes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I mean, even though I was not rooting for Portland, I was not rooting for Denver either. I just wanted to watch good playoff basketball. I was so devastated when Portland lost that game. I'm just like, how can you wait?
You and me both.
I'm just like, Dame does that, and you guys still find a way to lose.
Yeah.
If I'm Dame, I'm like, why am I coming back here? Seriously, why am I coming back?
Well, Dame's a really loyal guy, and he, in his heart of heart, believes that he can win a title in Portland, and he believes that trying to win a championship the right way with his own team is better than joining, say, the Lakers and winning a title and doing it the cheap way. And I like that approach. I'm all for that. Obviously, it benefits me to have a star that wants to be here. As a Cleveland fan, you guys got lucky that one of the best players of all time just happened to be born down the road in Akron. So otherwise, he might have come back that second time to Cleveland. So, yeah, it's kind of like that, where it's nice to see the loyalty and stuff like that. And Dame wants to be here. He looks at it like a marriage where it's going to have ups and downs. But I think he wants to be a lifetime Blazer. And also, if he was to win a ring or even maybe get to the finals, it's a case where it's up there with like a Dirk Nowitzki winning against the Miami Heat super team in 2011. It's up there as one of the the greatest individual championships, like legacy wise in NBA history, versus, you know, LeBron teaming up with Anthony Davis and winning a ring. I mean, that's not super impressive, you know. So I think he looks at it that way, whereas if he can find a way to lead a Portland team to a championship, I mean, that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately, but like, I like the mentality he has for that.
You guys have won a championship before. What was it, in the 90s?
No, it was in the 70s.
Oh,
77. Yep.
But you were in the finals in the 90s, though, weren't you?
Yeah, 90 and 92, we were in the finals against the Pistons in 90 and the Bad Boys Pistons, and then the first of, or I guess that was the second of the Bulls' 6 championships in 92.
Oh. Yeah, so you just got a little bit unlucky in that regard.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you didn't go to the finals 4 consecutive years.
Hey, man, you got one. If we got one, that would erase all the bad memories in my mind.
Yeah.
I was born in 79. I'm 42, and so I was born 2 years after the championship, so I've never seen it in my lifetime, unfortunately. That would be one of the greatest moments of my life outside of, you know, family stuff. And so I can't think of a much more emotional time for me than seeing the Blazers win a championship. I hope I see it in my lifetime, and I really hope for Dame's sake that it's him that leads us there. But it's just so hard to win a championship with all these teams ganging up with stars and stuff like that to win rings.
You have no idea. When the Cavaliers actually won that title in 2016, I literally tackled my dad from just pure excitement.
Is he a big Cavs fan too?
Not as big as I am. I'm the biggest Cavaliers fan in the family.
Okay.
I've been a diehard Cavaliers fan ever since I was little. So I guess I didn't appreciate the finals run in 2007, mostly because I was kind of little. So looking back, it was a great run, but at the same time, we weren't ready for that.
Yeah.
LeBron carried us to that.
And you get there and then get swept, so it's kind of a disappointment.
Yep. I mean,
and then you don't go back with better teams the next few years.
Yep. And then LeBron said, "Okay, bye.
See ya." Yep.
And then I'm
gonna go join up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Exactly. And then we go into the lottery. We get Kyrie, and then we draft Anthony Bennett, number 1 overall. What? What?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the Dame draft, you guys, I think, took Dion Waiters at 4, right?
Something about that.
Over Dame, yeah.
Yeah. Dizzy Dade says, "What's good, Eric? Have you told them about my epic moves in our mock offseason for the Cavs the last 2 seasons? I got to hear about this now."
I don't think you want to know. Just kidding, Dizzy D. No, he's been the Cavs. It just worked out to where he was the Cavs in both of those mock-off seasons I was telling you about. And he actually traded me the number 3 pick as the Pistons for the 7th pick and taking Kevin Love's contract on. And then he actually got Scotty Barnes at 7, which was a good pick. But then he traded a bunch of players for Russell Westbrook. So I don't know how you feel about Russell Westbrook. Yeah, exactly.
No. Keep Russell Westbrook away from this team.
Exactly.
No. Or as Skip Bayless calls him, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. This was before the actual trade to the Lakers and stuff. But yeah, not a good look acquiring Westbrook in most cases.
No.
And obviously the real Cavs have got it pointed in the right direction.
We do. I predicted before the season that we would be at 30 wins. Did I predict playoffs though? No. I said maybe the play-in tournament at best. But that's it. I was not thinking top 6. But
do you think it's sustainable, or are you going to hold on? Are you worried?
We might be hitting like our leveling off period where we slide down in the standings a little bit. It did seem like early on we were having all this success, and I gotta admit I got caught up in all the hoopla, and I saw how well we were doing in the standings. I'm like, oh my God, what? And then, we've gone 1-4 in our last 5 games, I believe it is. We just went 1-2 on our 3-game homestand before that. So,
well, the good news for Cleveland is that a lot of other teams like Atlanta, New York, Boston, that you would think going into the season would be better than the Cavs, have all struggled too, and they're not really showing any signs of getting out of their funk either.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. We're actually trying to sweep you tonight in the season because we beat you in Cleveland, but for some reason Portland has been like really hard for us to win in. I don't know what it is.
Well, usually we're a good home team. We started off, I think, 10-1 at home. We lost our first one and then won 9 or 10 in a row. And then the wheels just fell off this season. We were 10-8 before that 19-game stretch I talked about.
Yeah.
And it was just a brutal stretch. And like you guys, we've had Dame and CJ miss multiple games. I think CJ is about to miss his 14th game in a row tonight. So that's been pretty brutal. We avoided the COVID scenarios for a while, but then almost our whole team got it at once. And so that, like most teams having to deal with, we had to deal with that for a few. And then, but yeah, this should be a win for the Cavs tonight without our main backcourt. Yep.
Yeah. I love this. We suck this year. This should be an easy win for the Cavs.
Yeah.
I'm loving watching all the comments about these guys in the chat. It's just the guys from the Discord server, I think, just going back and forth. I'm loving it.
Those are my guys.
Like original Dizzy D says, Blazers need the W, but this season, who knows?
Yeah, have you been in tank mode like previous seasons with the Cavs, or do you always want them to win?
As a fan, you always want your team to win, but there's just certain seasons where you're like, okay, this season's not going anywhere. I can tell right away we suck.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I still go to games and stuff. So I'm just like,
what? Yeah. I don't know if you know about this man, Anthony Simons.
I've heard about him.
You're going to find out tonight. So this has been the lone bright spot. Him, and we also have another young player, Nasir Little. It's been fun seeing them get minutes and kind of break out this season. So that's the plus side of being bad, is you get to see stuff like that, which I'm sure you had plenty of young players throughout the years in Cleveland to enjoy watching as well. But Anthony has started the last 2 games in place of Dame and is averaging 35.5 points on over 50% shooting and 7 assists a game over the last 2. So look for him to either carry the Blazers if they have a chance to win tonight, or if he has a bad game, they probably have no chance of control.
And Alvaro wants to know, Eric, are you going to the game tonight?
I am not going to the game tonight. I would like to see Mobley in person sometime, but
I've seen Mobley in person a few times this season. So far, I think I'm 3-2 with Cavaliers games so far this season in person. So, what are I know for you guys, like the games here in Cleveland are probably, what is it, later for you?
Yeah, it would be. Oh, they start earlier, so they started like 4.
Oh, so
Yeah,
what are
it's late.
Portland fans like saying about the Cavaliers?
Uh, just good, fun team. Good story. Just I think a lot of people like Mobley. It's funny because there was a rumor before the season that there was a potential CJ trade for a bad contract and a top 4 pick, and I don't think the rumor was true, but if it was, like, it pretty much had to have been Cleveland. So a lot of Blazer fans were like, "Dang, we gave up an opportunity to get Mobley ourselves," um, which worked out really well for you guys, I guess, if that
Yes, it
rumor
did.
was true. But so yeah, a lot of Blazer fans really like Mobley a lot, and he's of course from USC, who West Coast
Yeah,
team. So yeah, he's the type of guy who can obviously transform a defense, and Portland's missing that. Yeah, I do watch a lot of Cleveland games just because I like Mobley, and like I said, I like Garland too. So
yeah,
they're a fun team to watch, and I always like good young teams that play the right way, and I feel like Cleveland is doing it the right way this year.
yeah,
And also Jared Allen, that was a steal getting him as a throw in of that James Harden trade last year. I
yeah,
thought Houston made a huge mistake by taking the first round pick from you guys, or I guess it was via Milwaukee or something like that, instead of just taking Allen themselves. They'd be in so much better shape right now.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a steal of a trade. So I really like some of the moves that the Cavs have been making. So I do follow them. Just don't have a chance to watch every game.
I love this. We are trying to copy you guys now, basically.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening? We want Jabari Smith and Ben Simmons, but Chef would be interesting also.
Yeah, so yeah, Jabari and Chet are 2 of the top 3 prospective draft picks next draft. So it's kind of funny because Blazer fans are unfortunately in tank mode right now. So we're talking about draft picks and stuff like that instead of winning games and making the playoffs and all this stuff. So, but at this point, we're so far down this season, like even getting back to 500 would take like a pretty good run of basketball. So it's to the point now where we have dreams of maybe pulling off a big trade that helps us in the future, and then also adding a top 5 pick or something in this draft.
Gotcha. So I actually just put the link to come into the stream in the chat. So for those watching in the chat, if you want to come backstage and interact with us, just click on that link and I'll bring you on. And
all right, nice.
You can share your thoughts. I thought that would be fun. I mean, I see all these comments in the chat. I'm like, let's open it up a little bit. I have the basic version of StreamYard, so I can only take a maximum of 6 people at a time. So, yeah. So, let's just try and keep it orderly. Don't all rush to come backstage at once. I love this. Original Dizzy D's just like, we need to make some trades.
Yeah, we have about 5 weeks until the trade deadline, so yeah, definitely need to do something, I think.
Yeah. I feel like we do too, because we got Rondo, and he's probably going to make his debut tonight, but
that was more a secondary move than a...
Yeah, it was out of necessity because we lost Rubio for the season, because Rubio was doing amazing for us. And, I have a couple colleagues on a radio show that I do. And, hold on a second. Nurkic for Jared Allen? No, we're not doing that trade.
Yeah, you guys aren't trading Jared Allen.
Don't be
I'd say Allen, Mobley, and Garland are off the table in trades, right?
Yeah. If Kobe Altman is smart, he'll say, no, I'm not trading Jared Allen, Darius Garland, or Evan Mobley. Anybody else is available.
That's such a nice young core too.
Yeah, it really is. So you said you've been watching the Cavs a little bit. Do you think that we're going to be the new trend setters, and because the rest of the league has gone small ball,
right?
And we've
done the opposite, right?
Yeah. So do you think the rest of the league is going to look at us and be like, hey, maybe the Cavs have the right idea?
I don't know if other teams will join that much, but I love the approach of, because you guys weren't going to compete going small. So why not try something different than other teams are doing?
Yeah.
And that is something the Blazers tried to do with Nurkic and Zach Collins a couple years ago. So when they made their Western Conference Finals run, they had Zach Collins coming off the bench, and he outplayed the starter Al-Farouq Aminu in the playoffs and had earned the starting power forward spot. So we were going to go basically 2 7-footers in our starting lineup. And kind of like Mobley, he's kind of like a poor man's Mobley, Zach Collins. So the idea was that he was quick enough to guard the perimeter a little bit, but also be a secondary rim protector. So I like that strategy because you're not going to be say the Warriors playing their style of basketball. They're too good at their style of basketball to copy them and then be better than them. So right. I like doing something the opposite. And if you get the right pieces, you can absolutely, because a team that goes small that doesn't really have a center, how are they supposed to stop Allen and Mobley? They might have a little bit of trouble guarding quicker guys on the perimeter, but I think they're both quick enough to stay in front of a lot of players to where that's not a disadvantage. So not only do I like the strategy, but the two guys you have in that strategy, I think are perfect for that with their mobility.
I love this comment from Hamza. She goes, if you want to beat the Blazers, just throw lobs from pick and roll. Easy open dunks. We never guard them.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a huge issue on pick and rolls. So yeah, if Garland comes off the pick and roll and the bigs hedging on him, Allen's going to be wide open. We saw that in the first time the Blazers played the Cavs. Allen had a field day with dunks inside. So I expect more of that tonight.
Yeah.
I don't think Mobley played in the first one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't remember him in that game.
I can look up the box score super quick on my trusty iPad. Let's see. I'll just go to the Cavs app, I guess. I'm trying to even remember when we played you here in Cleveland.
It was our 7th game of the season, I think it was. Because we were 3-2 and went on a 3-game road trip, and I think you were the 2nd game of that.
Yeah, it was back on November 7th. We beat you by 3, 107-104. So you guys kept it close with us.
That was considered a bad loss at the time because we were supposed to be good and you guys were supposed to be bad, and it was still early enough in the season to where no one knew about the Cavs yet. And so that was considered a bad loss. We lost to the Hornets before that, and then we lost in Philly. I think it was a back-to-back the next night. They had Embiid and Simmons out of that game, and we still lost.
Yeah. We had Sexton in that game. We didn't lose Sexton until it was actually 2 games after that. It was in New York on November 7th that we lost Sexton. So we had Sexton in that game. He went off for 21. For you guys, Lillard had 26. McCollum had 21. Norman Powell had 23. Nurkic only gave you 6 points. Covington only gave you 6. And then off the bench, the main guy you got was Simons for 15. Nobody else off the bench gave you anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You only got 20. You only
That
got
was the story of our early season.
22 points off the bench.
Yeah.
So
Well, we don't really have a bench right now, so it's going to continue because like most of our benches, the good players off our bench are now starters, and yeah, so we don't really have much off the bench right now in terms of scoring.
I mean, we didn't get much off our bench either. We only Chetty Osman gave us 12. Dylan Windler gave us 13.
Oh yeah, he made several threes because we led from wide open.
So we only got 25 points off our bench, so not that we didn't do that much better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the injury report for our game tonight.
Unfortunately, Nance is on there, so you won't get to see him.
Yeah, we're a -6. We're a 6-point favorite. We have a 72.6% chance to win.
Man, could you imagine before the season saying this game you'd be favored by 6?
No, I couldn't have.
Even if Dame was out, like still.
I know.
That's so crazy, but
yeah,
we're. I don't know if I'd take the Blazers in the points tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, we're both 1-4 in our last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You won the day after us because we beat Indiana on January 2nd. You beat Atlanta on January 3rd, so that's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Hey, two disappointing teams, just like the Blazers.
Yep.
Atlanta and Indiana.
The over-under right now is actually 215.5.
Well, the Blazers can't play defense. The Cavs are probably going to score one of their highest outputs of the season. So look for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad bet to bet the over against the Blazers.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the injury report. Rondo is probable for tonight's game.
That'll be interesting to see if Rondo plays.
Yeah. Chetty Osman is probable for tonight's game. Okoro's out for 2 to 3 weeks. Rubio's done for the year. Sexton's done for the year. So that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then for you, Nance is
out.
Yeah, he has a knee injury. Lillard is out for you. And McCollum's out for you. So I feel like all you have is Nurkic, Simons, Norman Powell. Am I missing anybody?
And Mr. Little's played okay. He's kind of hit or miss with his scoring, but he's been rebounding the ball well, kind of an energetic wing. But yeah, other than those guys, there's not much. Covington's been coming off the bench. I'm guessing he'll move back into the starting lineup. And we get Cody Zeller back tonight, but those guys have been pretty disappointing this year, Zeller and Robert Covington in particular. Yeah.
A lot of the comments I'm seeing are very similar to like what this person's saying. Like, yeah, the Cavs are going to get a lot of open shots tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
So
the Blazers defense is just brutal. Just make a few passes, like you said, and you get an open shot every time.
Yeah. So what have been your overall thoughts on Chauncey Billups as head coach? Did you like the hire initially? And
I love the hire basketball wise. I didn't like the stuff that came along with it, with the allegations. Back when he played for the Celtics, there was a rape allegation, so that's been tough to navigate. Both what happened there, not knowing all the evidence, and then also, whether or not someone deserves a second chance or if he's telling the truth or whatever. So I think the Blazers have kind of handled it poorly from the beginning, and that's part of the reason why O'Shea probably got investigated the way he did. But I was really excited about it basketball-wise because once he got the job, he said all the things I've been saying we needed to do. We needed ball movement. We needed to pass up contested shots for better shots. We needed to have movement off ball. We needed to be scrappy and aggressive on defense, and we needed to utilize Nurkic's playmaking, and we needed to play a certain way, and we needed to get tougher and all this stuff. And in reality, it's just been the complete opposite this year. We haven't really done much to toughen our defense. In fact, it seems to be regressing. Players seem to be giving up a lot. They all talked about accountability on media day, about how they were going to put an address on it and make sure we call out people who aren't doing their job right and all that stuff. And it's led to, you would hope that doing so would lead to people like stepping up and not wanting to get called out, but it's actually turned into people just not caring anymore. And it seems like they've kind of given up in certain situations. And then there's all kinds of mental mistakes and things like that. And then Nurkic has his lowest usage since his Denver days in terms of getting the ball and playing a role in offense. And our defense is just atrocious. It just seems like we're not doing any of the things that Chauncey has said. So unfortunately, I have to give him a pretty bad grade up until now, because he's basically been the opposite of what he said he was going to be. And he's still young, as a first-year coach. So much like, JB Bickerstaff got a few interim jobs elsewhere before this stint with the Cavs, but never really got a chance to be the guy. But he was a good assistant coach for a long time. But Chauncey was only an assistant coach for 1 year, and then now is a head coach in his first season. So just not a lot of experience. I still feel like if he gets the type of players who have his mindset, he will be a good coach. And I feel like he's a good coach with our younger guys in Simons and Little. But overall, I think he's been pretty disappointing in terms of getting what his philosophies are to translate onto the court.
Yeah. So
and I was a huge anti-Stotts person too. Like I did not like Stotts as a coach, especially the last few years. So
you were all right with them getting rid of him.
I was totally on board. I wanted it to happen sooner than it did, and I still think that was the right decision. It's just unfortunately not going well with the new coach they brought in.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think you got. I'm trying to think of how to say this. You guys had the opportunity to get a game changer when you drafted Greg Oden, and I think he would have worked out, but just those injuries. Ugh.
Yeah, story of being a Blazer fan, I guess.
Yep, because you had Brandon Roy, and then
and then we did. Yep, they would have been a very good tandem. In fact, I think him, Roy Aldridge, and Oden, when they played together, were something like 60 and 12 on the court.
Yeah,
just unstoppable. And that's all they got was 72 games and like 4 seasons or something together. So unfortunately didn't work out there. And then we regrouped, and then we got lucky enough to get Dame in the draft, and made some decent playoff runs with Dame, but unfortunately haven't gotten over the hump or gotten him that player he needs to get him to the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys thought you had it with Carmelo when you added him.
Yeah, not necessarily at that point of his career. He's just kind of he was out of the league for a year and a half at that point. But it's kind of funny because a few years prior, when Melo was still with the Knicks, he demanded a trade, but he was only to, I think Cleveland was one of them, right? Because you still had LeBron at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like Cleveland, Houston, and one other team. And then he expanded it to Oklahoma City, but Portland apparently had a deal for him in place if he expanded it to Portland, but he refused to play for Portland. And then Portland's the only team that gives him a chance a couple of years later. So maybe if we would have acquired him that offseason, he was traded to Oklahoma City. He probably would have been thought more of that piece that you mentioned, but unfortunately, he was just a little past his prime when he came to Portland. And much like you were talking about with Sexton, he was just allowed to, isolate and post up and do his thing. And it wasn't really team oriented with him that much. Although I will say all the young players around the team had glowing things to say about him as a person in the locker room. So no disrespect there. Just on the court wasn't quite at the skill level to help Dame get there that we needed.
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned like trades and stuff with Portland. When we made the 3-team trade with you in Chicago to get Lowry, that was not the first time we've been trade partners.
Right.
We trade Rodney Hood to you guys.
Yep. And you also traded Anderson Varejao in a salary dump, I think that would have been the 2015, 2016 season. I think.
That's the deal that brought us Channing Frye. Yep. So I guess I don't even remember what we got from you guys in exchange for Rodney Hood. I think it was just draft picks.
It was. I think it was minimum contract guys. I think it was, if I remember, it was like Stauskas and someone else, which you guys waived or retraded. The same. I think it was Stauskas and Wade Baldwin or something, and those same guys got traded or waived and signed by another team like 4 times in that week or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't understand sometimes what the Cavs are doing. Like this offseason when they were trading for all these big guys, I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like we go out and we trade for Jared Allen last season. Then we draft Evan Mobley. Or no, first then we trade for Lauri Markkanen. Then we draft Evan Mobley. And then we go and sign Taco Fall. I'm just like, what? Why? That's funny.
Why do we need a 7'6" guy on the team? Wait, what purpose do you supply? So that part made no sense.
I was really excited about the Nance trade because I felt like he was something the Blazers needed, that kind of guy who will do all the little things on the court and is a smart player. Unfortunately, we've been so bad. It hasn't really, it's those kind of guys get lost on bad teams, as you know, the previous year in Cleveland. It's kind of a waste to have those kind of players on a bad team, but
you want to trade him back to us?
I mean, if we could, I would, but unfortunately, I don't think he can be traded back to Cleveland this season. So that's the unfortunate part about that trade.
You guys are in a tough division, though. You got Utah, you got Denver, Minnesota has come up on the uprise. You got Oklahoma City, which they should not be in the Northwest Division.
Well, Minnesota shouldn't either.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird division in terms of locations, but there's so many teams around where Cleveland is that division could be like 10 teams. Yep.
Like Memphis could be in our division. Minnesota could be in our division. Trying to think who else could. Philadelphia could be in our division. Yeah, you're right.
Especially now that the Sonics are gone, they'll probably be put back in that division. They'll probably relocate teams to different divisions, might even switch Memphis to the Eastern Conference if that happens. But once they went away, it's kind of hard geographically to put how to do it because there's not many teams up here.
Yeah, I was so disappointed when Seattle left. Because you guys had a good rivalry with the Sonics, too.
Yeah, it was fun. And like you mentioned at the top of the show, you like to go to different arenas and check out other teams' arenas and go to a game there. So it was always kind of cool. It was about 3-4 hour drive up to Seattle and you could watch a different team play, or you could go watch the Blazers when they played up there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, their arena, that experience, I mean, the game was fun. It was Durant's first year and only year in Seattle. But I went to the last Blazers Sonics game there, and that arena was just terrible. Like the seats were all torn up, and they obviously needed a new arena. And unfortunately, couldn't get it done in Seattle. And I think the NBA probably learned from the mistake of not keeping the team there. So I'm not worried about, say, a team like Portland getting moved if they ever have a different owner or anything like that. But yeah, it has always been disappointed that the Sonics are not a team anymore.
Yeah. I think if the NBA ever does an expansion, Seattle's going to be the first on the list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's also talk of Vegas being the second team there.
Yeah. If that happens, Memphis is going to move to our division probably, and
yeah,
maybe Chicago wouldn't move to the West.
Honestly, there's no real need for divisions anymore because there's no if you win your division, you don't guarantee a playoff spot anymore. So you might as well just have all 15, or I guess in that case it'd be 16 teams in one big division, and then you could just play certain teams more than others.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense why we only play like you guys twice, because that would be insane trying to.
Right.
We would never do like at home against Atlanta and then the next day fly out to Portland.
Right. Yeah, I'm talking about keep the Eastern and Western conferences, but get rid of the divisions within the conference, since the division winners don't matter anyway.
I like that idea, actually. Yeah, I do. I actually really like that idea now that you mention it. Huh. But when talking about like visiting teams in other arenas, I actually try to avoid seeing the Cavs on the road.
Oh, okay.
Because
you don't like that?
I want to be able to root for the home team.
Oh, okay.
I think that's just...
You don't like to be an enemy in the crowd?
No.
Yeah.
I did it one time in Detroit at the Palace, but it was when LeBron was there, so it was easy to be there. But like, I just, with this goal, I want to be able to like support the home team, be part of the home crowd and all that.
Yeah. Do you, in Cleveland, do you have a lot of opposing fans that go to Cleveland games?
It depends on the opponent. Like,
like obviously if you're playing the Lakers and LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Georgia or Alabama Monday night?
A rematch. I think Georgia might get him this time. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to say Georgia, but Alabama's just shown their Georgia's kryptonite, so I can't do it. You can't. I learned after the Cincinnati game, don't bet against Saban. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Hey, I have the perfect parallel for the Blazers season. The Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
You know how you feel about the Browns this season?
Yep.
That's kind of what I'm feeling about the Blazers. So that wasn't meant as an insult. It's like, high expectations, and you think the roster is better than it is, and
yeah. But the Browns tend to do that. It's like you put expectations on them, they fall flat on their face.
Right. Don't have expectations. Hey, maybe they surprise you.
Yep. Whereas, like, with Portland, you guys usually somewhat at least meet your expectations when you when they get put on you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not always, but you tend to. So we're just hitting the hour mark. Do you want to start wrapping things up?
Yeah, sure, man. This has been fun, though.
Yeah. I really enjoyed doing this. If I'm still awake at the end of the game, because here it's not going to end until like midnight.
Yeah.
Since it's a 10 o'clock game. I'm definitely going to pop into your your stream with Tori
Yeah.
to watch the post-game video, I'll be in the comments and stuff.
All right.
Probably.
Just tag me in there. I'll say hi.
Okay. Probably rubbing it in your faces.
Yeah.
We beat you.
Yeah.
But
and I'll be like, thank you for beating us, because that helps our tank, right?
Yeah. But don't worry. I'll do it in a respectful way. I'm not gonna be like,
oh, it's all good. Hey, man, if you guys win, talk all the crap you want.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being the inaugural Cleveland Cavaliers video collaboration guest.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Absolutely.
It was great talking Blazers Cavaliers. I feel like I learned a lot from you.
Thanks.
Hopefully you learned a little bit from me about the Cavs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully next season we can continue to do these. And hey, if you know any other NBA fans that you think I should reach out to, certainly let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know on Discord. Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me. You have a good night. Enjoy the game.
You as well. All right.
Bye.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I hope you enjoyed that video collaboration. I wanted to change things up a little bit because I'm sure you all were used to me doing Cleveland Browns video collaborations because that's been my bread and butter. And I just thought, okay, the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. Let's change things up. I've been in that BlazersUprise Discord server for a little while, so I'm going to bring them on. So hope you enjoyed that. This is not going to be the last time you see a Cleveland Cavaliers video collaboration here in the sports room. I'm going to try and find other fans, and I'm going to try and keep this going. I'm not going to try and set a goal to do a video collaboration for all 82 games on the Cavaliers schedule because that's just way too much. And wait. Walltown Beast. I'm a Miami Heat fan. What is your opinion on the Heat and all the injuries in COVID-19? Good question. So the Miami Heat, we are 2-0 against you this season. We finally ended our losing streak in Miami, which, by the way, I do have the Heat represented. You guys are right. Where are the Heat? You are right just above Memphis. Right there. Okay? So, we finally ended our 20-game losing streak at what was then American Airlines Arena. Now it's called FTX Arena. I like American Airlines Arena better personally, but either way, in terms of Miami, you guys, I think you are third in the Eastern Conference right now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check on that. Go to ESPN. No, excuse me. You are fourth. Yeah, you're fourth in the division at 24-15. So if the playoffs started today, you would be matched up with the Philadelphia 76ers. If the playoffs started today, we would be matched up with a division rival and the defending NBA champions, the Milwaukee Bucks. Right now, the Eastern Conference division or standings are as follows: Chicago, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, New York, Boston, Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit, Orlando. Now, don't worry, Walltown Beast. I'm going to actually answer your question. For the Miami Heat, I loved when you guys got Kyle Lowry. Loved it. I thought it was the perfect fit for both Miami and for Lowry, because him and Jimmy Butler have been a terrific pairing. And I love what you guys are doing with Bam Adebayo. I think even before you got Kyle Lowry, the pairing of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo was tremendous. Honestly, I think if Goran Dragic wasn't injured and you weren't, and it wasn't the year Kobe had passed away, you guys probably would have beaten the Lakers in the NBA Finals. I think Kobe had a little bit of an effect on that series. But Miami was not outplayed in that series by any means against the Lakers. Miami should not feel ashamed. You guys were basically in every single game. That was one of my favorite NBA Finals. Even though it was in the COVID bubble and no fans were there, I personally really enjoyed it. But it is just a little past 9 o'clock here in Cleveland. I am going to go get ready for this game. So thank you again for joining me in the sports room tonight. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, punch that subscribe button like a UFC fighter. Click that notification bell so you'll know when I upload new videos or if I'm doing a live stream like this. And also, punch that like button like a UFC fighter. Because right now, I am, let's see. Last I checked, I was 63 subscribers away. Oh, wow. Whoa. Never mind. I am 55 subscribers away from 500. 55. We can do this. So tell your friends about this channel. Tell your family. Tell your friends. Tell other sports fans. Tell them to subscribe to this channel. That's it. 55. That's not a big number. Well, actually, relatively it is. But anyway, go tell everyone you know. Subscribe to this channel. Let's get to the 500. And then let's get to 600. And then 700. 800. 900. And then let's eventually get to 1,000. That is my big goal. I would love to grow this channel to get to 1,000 subscribers and then keep pushing the envelope. Keep going. See how far I can grow this channel. But everything in moderation. So again, 55 subscribers away from 500. So I will see you next time on another episode of the SportsRoom Talk Show, where you never know who's going to be my guest. I'm going to keep surprising you from now on. I like that. Actually, I'm not going to be able to do it for every episode because you guys know the certain people who I'm going to bring on depending on what team it is. But quick thing actually before I go. The Browns schedule the Cleveland Browns list of opponents is locked in. We've got our division opponents, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and then we're playing the AFC East, so that means we'll be playing Buffalo and Miami on the road, and then we will be hosting the Jets and the Patriots, and then we play the NFC South, which means we host Tampa Bay and we host New Orleans. We'll be at Carolina, at Atlanta, and then we will be, I believe it's at Jacksonville, home against Denver, and then we will be at the New York Giants. So until next time, I'm Unger to the Max, and I will see you on another episode of the SportsRoom Talk Show, where you never know who's going to be in the sports room.